Hello, everybody. Welcome back into another episode of HBO's The Last of Us. This is going to be episode 4. Please hold to my hand, which is interesting grammar. So I'm very late in recording this because when this episode came out, I was 2 days fresh out of surgery. So it's been a while getting the energy levels and the recovery back into place where I can finally sit down and record more reactions for you guys. But I'm very excited for this episode because, as we all know, this is going to be when we meet Sam and Henry, who we don't get to spend a lot of time with in the game. They're definitely there for a good chapter, and they have a really interesting story. But I'm excited to see how the show adapts their characters, because obviously the Bill we got in the last episode was so similar emotionally, but so different story-wise than the Bill that we got in the game. So I'm interested to see if Sam and Henry get a similar treatment this episode. So let's go ahead and jump into episode 4. Please hold to my hand. Where did that even come from? That idea that you close an eye while shooting a pistol. I've seen it in movies sometimes. Definitely older movies and TV shows, though. Not like super old, but a little bit older. Anyway, super dumb. Don't close an eye when you're shooting. Okay, they're siphoning gas. Surprised most of that hasn't gone bad. It's been 20 years. Then again, I don't know anything about the shelf life of gas.
Gas breaks down over time. This stuff's almost water.
Nice. How does that work?
It's a siphon. It's when liquid travels against gravity because pressure.
You don't know.
I know it works.
To be fair, I also don't know the exact science behind a siphon, but I also know it works.
This is your fault then. It doesn't matter how much you push the envelope. It'll still be stationary.
That's the exact same joke from the game. We got the joke book. All I need is Joel throwing one good brick and I will be satisfied.
Here, this make you all nostalgic?
This is actually before my time.
Right.
It's a winner, though.
I love that the dialogue from the game really does sound very natural to them.
It's, light on the reading, but it has some interesting pictures.
Oh, no.
Why are all these pages stuck together?
It's so natural to them. I love it.
Fucking with ya.
They really encapsulate Ellie and Joel and just portray them so well. Because sometimes if you're taking dialogue from a book or a game or any other medium and you're trying to translate it somewhere else, it comes out as really awkward because you sometimes get the sense that the actors don't exactly understand the characters that they're trying to portray. It just seems so easy to Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal. We know they're not going to Pittsburgh, and that's a very interesting change because Pittsburgh is such an interesting and fun chapter to play through, but it's also so stressful because that's really your first time seeing how messed up humans have gotten. So I am interested to see what prompted the change from Pittsburgh, if there was a specific reason for it. I know there's a podcast at the end of each episode that I don't listen to, but I probably should. Would probably have some really interesting insights. Or not a podcast, just a little episode after the episode. You know what I'm saying. Don't question me. Old ravioli.
What have you been eating?
That is 20-year-old Chef Boyardee ravioli.
That guy was good.
I actually agree.
Do you guys remember the old Chef Boyardee commercials where the can would like follow the child home and the mother would just accept it?
So can we start a fire? I'm freezing.
Now, why am I going to tell you no?
People? So what are they gonna do, rob us?
Well, they'll have way more in mind than that.
That's about the least of your worries.
Why did the Scarecrow get an award?
Because he was outstanding in his field.
You dick! Did you read this?
No. I'll go to sleep.
He even smiled a little. They're bonding over the joke book.
There's no way anyone knows knows we're here, right? No one's gonna find us.
No one's gonna find us.
Man, she really trusts him when he says that. He's not gonna sleep at all. Mm-hmm. Can't blame him. It has to be terrifying out there. To know there's the possibility that you're not alone and there's something worse than you out there. Good old caffeine.
What the fuck is that?
You don't like coffee?
That is the lifeblood of the universe right there, kids. Show some respect. That would absolutely be one of the things I would trade for, hands down. I need coffee, okay?
What's his name?
Whose name?
Your brother.
Tommy. Tommy's what we used to call a joiner. Dreams of becoming a hero. So he enlists in the army right out of high school. Cut to 12 years later, outbreak happens. He convinces me to join a group making their way up to Boston, which I did. That's where we met Tess.
Yeah, having him previously be a soldier really adds to Tommy having joined the Fireflies. Because definitely if you know the conditions in the Boston QZ, it would make sense why you would be supportive of the Fireflies. But it just adds something to Tommy as well.
Wants to save the world. Pipe dream, him, Fireflies, all of them. Of course, last I heard he quit the Fireflies too.
This is going to be a really interesting reunion. More interesting than probably what we got in the game, because in the game, Joel did not expect to run into Tommy. Whereas here, he's actively looking for Tommy because he thinks Tommy is in danger, whereas players of the game, we know differently. So I am interested to see what the fallout of Joel racing across country for Ellie, but also to see Tommy and finding Tommy in the conditions that he's in.
Keep going for family. That's about it.
I'm not family.
No. You're cargo. But I made a promise to Tess.
For now.
She was like family.
She's cargo for now. See, y'all are crazy.
What?
Both here and in the game, this never made any sense to me because if I knew the things Joel knew, you would not catch me dead in a city. Absolutely not. I don't care how long the detour would be, I'm going around.
We can jog right around this tunnel. Take the next ramp. And we're back on the road minute tops.
Absolutely not. I'd get to siphoning some of those cars and hope for the best.
The fuck is a highway?
I can't tell from this. I'm all turned around.
Well, don't look at the state map. Look at the
I
inside.
don't know where we are in that either. This is my second day in a fucking car, man.
Oh, to be without Google Maps. A bunch of charred corpses. You know, fungus didn't do that.
Is that the QZ? Where the fuck is Fedra?
Please help! Put your seatbelt on.
Are we gonna help him?
No.
There you go, Joel. Hit him. Man, I kind of wish the radio music had come back the way it did in the game, but I understand why they didn't.
When I say go, you crawl to that wall, and you squeeze through, and you don't come out until I say. They're not gonna hit you. You stay down, you stay low, you stay quiet.
Yeah, they're not gonna hit you. They're wasting a lot of shots on something they can't see. They're really not good at this. Good on you, Joel.
You motherfucker!
What did you think was going to happen? Video game enemies, man, they shoot at you first and then they get mad when their friend dies. Oh, good. You did good, Joel. There were definitely more than two of them. Ooh. Yep. Quite the switch up from how Ellie saves Joel in the game.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's over. We're not fighting anymore. I'm gonna go home. I'll tell everyone you're good. I'm Brian.
Oh, Brian, you don't get to plead your case right now. There's no we're trading, okay? You made your bed. That's the sad part too, is there probably are a lot of people, most definitely a lot of people in these situations who are good people doing bad things to survive. But like once someone crosses you like that, there's no, okay, we'll be friends now. Because definitely they're gonna want revenge for killing the other two. So you might as well finish the job. Oh, he called for mom.
What now?
You go up.
Let's get a better look.
Hopefully we spot a clear route out.
I do like that they're not making the raiders, well, probably not raiders, the inhabitants like these mindless killers. Because who knows? Once again, Brian was probably a nice person. He just wanted to go home to mom. He just crossed the wrong people.
You know where Henry is. I wonder if this is the cell where my brother was beaten to death.
Oh, you were wronged. I never told him anything about your brother.
But Henry did.
I love that they're giving characters deeper backstories because in the game, I think Henry was just trying to escape Pittsburgh with a group they ended up in and they really needed to get out. He didn't really have a background in Pittsburgh. So this is very interesting for Henry to have a background in Kansas City and have like an actual reason people are after him.
Who did this?
We think it was outsiders.
Will he live? What if I had a doctor?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was about to say, Fedra guy finally has a use. He might survive.
Find who did this. Find every collaborator and kill them all.
Kathleen is such an interesting character, and I can't help but not like her, but appreciate her for being that's really freaky. I remember that from the trailers. Appreciate her for being so much different than other Raider leaders. Like, it doesn't seem like she's in it to just kill and plunder and kind of be the leader. She personally feels like she has a purpose and that she's doing something good. And it's always interesting to have villains like that. Well, not villains. Maybe antagonist is better.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Thing is, I didn't hear that guy coming. He shouldn't have had to. You're just a kid. You shouldn't know what it means to.
I like this conversation. I really do. Because he's trying to comfort her because he knows the weight of what it is to kill someone, as opposed to in the game when he's actually mad at her for getting involved. Like, he appreciates her saving him, but he's mad at her for also disobeying him and he yells at her. I like this a lot better.
Yeah, you really aren't.
I mean, it was my fault. You shouldn't have had to. And I'm sorry.
He never actually says I'm sorry or thank you in the game for her saving him. I do not recall, I think. He's giving it back.
Now, who taught you that?
Fedra school.
Figures. You put it in your pack. You shoot your damn ass off.
I love video game Joel with all my heart, but I do like this iteration too, where he's more forgiving and patient with Ellie because despite having lost Sarah years ago, Joel is still a father and he was a father to a young girl Ellie's age.
No sign of them. You?
Yeah.
I was so shocked to learn that that is Tommy's voice actor from the game. He and the guy who's playing Tommy now, exactly alike sounding. They sound exactly alike. I do really like that HBO and Naughty Dog had enough respect for their voice actors and their mocap artists to try to bring some of them back for the actual TV show. Oh, a bunch of Sam's drawings.
Double the guards around our provisions. He's fucking close. I can feel it.
Yeah.
What?
Fuck. That's nightmare fuel right there. Especially that.
We can deal with this after.
Kathleen.
After. Seal off the building for now.
Oh, honey. You probably got a handful of bloaters down there and you don't want to deal with that? I wouldn't want to deal with that either, actually.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Straighten up. I got you.
Once again, I love the game mechanic of like him helping her into spaces and Ellie having to go around and open doors.
We're going up 42 flights.
45. Not all the way.
How far?
As far as I can make it.
And then you gotta walk back down later. Well, down's never as bad as up. I do love the realism that's baked in as well, because you have to accept that he's an older guy.
Hey, you know that guy who said he was hurt? How did you know it was an ambush?
I've been on both sides.
They never hide the fact that Joel has done some absolutely terrible things and was probably a terrible person for a while. But you can't help but love him because you go through so much with him and Ellie.
Get up, you lazy ass.
Lazy ass. 56 years old, you little shit.
Yeah, he's an older guy. He's not going to be crouching around all the time, jumping over counters.
Joel.
He's making a sound trap. He's fine.
Joel!
What?
What are you doing?
I don't want someone sneaking up on us while we're sleeping.
You sure you're gonna hear it?
Of course I'll hear it. That's the damn point.
Okay. Well, good night.
Bad joints, bad hearing. Definitely not out here using focus to see through walls.
The reason I asked whether you'd hear the glass or not is because I've noticed you don't hear too well from your right side. Is it because you were shot there?
I don't even know where from shooting. So if you want to keep your hearing, you stick to that knife.
Okay, some more realism. I like it.
Did you know diarrhea is hereditary?
What?
Yeah. It runs in your genes.
He's smiling. They're adorable. I want more Ellie and Joel time.
Joel. Joel!
He rolled over. He couldn't hear him. Little Sam. Like I said, so many interesting changes get made that do seem beneficial. Like I said before, it seems like the writers went back and they saw a lot of loose ends in their own writing or things that they thought they could improve upon. So they did here for HBO's TV show, which I really enjoy. I'm not fully sure why they skipped over Pittsburgh and went to Kansas City. Maybe it was just geographical positioning, if anything, because Kansas City is so much closer to Wyoming. If you're going to have a massive point in the story take place, I guess it would make sense where Kansas City is, but it is an interesting change, and I do like it better for the sake of we get to see what the aftermath of a fall of a Fedra QZ is, because Pittsburgh also had a fallen QZ, but we really don't get but so much backstory on the Pittsburgh quarantine zone, whereas here in Kansas City, you do actually get to see what is left over after Fedra falls in a city, which is something that's touched on very loosely in the game. We see it more in the second game when Ellie reaches Seattle and we know this Seattle QZ fell to Isaac and the Wolves. So I do like the different things that can happen when Fedra and a QZ is involved, because Frank was also, I forget which QZ he was from, but that quarantine zone was completely wiped out as well. So there's a pattern there where Fedra is too controlling. There's an uprising that happens, whether it's the Fireflies or a random militant group, and QZs just fall. And that's really interesting to watch happen. But I'm really excited for more Henry and Sam. And like I said before, I do like Kathleen as an antagonist. I don't necessarily see her as a villain, but she's really interesting as an antagonist, particularly as I'm hesitant to call the Kansas City group raiders. She's an interesting leader of this antagonist group because she's not out doing these things for the sake of being a leader, for the sake of hurting other people. She is someone who feels like she has been wronged and she thinks she's correcting the situation. And even if you don't agree with her, you can understand how someone's mindset would get to the point that Kathleen has gotten to. And she's just so different and she's so soft-spoken. I actually recognize the actress. I could be wrong here, but I think she was in several seasons of 2.5 Men, and I've seen many episodes of that show. I think, well, God, what was that woman's name? Oh, I'm going to be so mad at myself that I can't remember. But I'm fairly sure she was in several episodes of 2.5 Men years ago. So I do like that actress. She's very soft-spoken, and it kind of adds to the intimidation that she has because she seems just so quiet and polite, even though she's threatening your life. And also, I do like the other guy as well, the guy with the long, peppered hair. I was so shocked when I found out that was Tommy's voice actor, but now hearing his voice, I can see Tommy in the game. And yes, he and the guy who's playing Tommy right now, very similar vocal patterns. And I'm sure the actor who's currently playing Tommy is mimicking Tommy from the game, the voice actor. And I do like, once again, that they are bringing in voice actors and mocap artists, like people who worked really hard to make the games a reality and make the games as beloved as they are, and to have enough respect for these artists to bring them into the show, not necessarily as their original character, because I think the only mocap voice actor who got their original part back was Marlene, and I really love that casting because it's been, how long has it been since the first game came out? Almost a decade, right? It's been quite some time. And it definitely feels like the actress who plays Marlene grew into her role. I'm excited to see Marlene again in the future as well. But lovely episode. I really enjoyed the changes that they're making. I know the next episode is going to be rough. So yeah, not really looking forward to that one. But I do hope that you guys enjoyed the episode and are continuing to enjoy the season. I hope you'll join me again, and I'll be seeing you very soon. Bye now.